show as well. Just some breaking news before we go to our next guest, who may indeed want to comment on it. The Conservative Party candidate for the Greater Manchester Mayoral election, of course, being held on the 2nd of May, along with London Mayoral election and other major cities' elections, has defected to the Reform UK party. Dan Barker was selected as the candidate back last December, but the Reform Party has confirmed that Barker will now stand as their candidate at the mayoral elections. Not quite sure what the Conservatives are going to do to find another candidate there, but just a quick reaction from Philip Ingram to that news. We've had Lee Anderson defecting. We've been told in the last couple of days that actually some talk that Rishi Sunak is going to be allowing some of the Tories who've had the whip suspended for various accusations of wrongdoing, basically get it back to not encourage them to also follow suit after Lee Anderson left as well. But losing your Conservative candidate to the Reform UK party, just, a matter of weeks before that mayoral election, that is quite a coup for Reform UK.
A huge coup for Reform UK, and they're pulling this out of the bag at every time. I think whenever they first came around, people were laughing at them too much. They are getting very serious, and they're now only 4 points behind the Conservatives in the latest poll, I understand.
Yes, the odd polls that they kept, when the Tories are really down. There's certainly are creeping up, but clearly it's clearly posing a threat.
There's a stalking horse that I think both main political parties need to be wary of.
Well, indeed. Well, I'm going to bring this up with our next guest, who joins us in just a moment now. More than half of parents say they support a complete ban on smartphones for under 16s. A new report by a charity claims that smartphones and screen use is ruining children's eyesight and their mental health. Joining me right now is Conservative MP and co-chair of the New Conservatives, Miriam Cates. Good afternoon to you, Miriam.
Good afternoon, Julia.
Now, I can't hear you. Are you on your mute button or we have problems? Miriam, can you hear me? Oh, we've not done this again. Like we had this earlier in the week where... Miriam, would you be a sweetheart, carry on speaking so I could just see... Everyone can hear it apart from me in the studio.
Julia.
This happened the other day.
And certainly, I've just done all the technical checks with your team.
OK, I'm going to talk to Philip while we try and make sure we can actually hear you, because I find interviews work better that way.
They do.
They do.
It helps if you
I do yap a lot, but it'd be nice. You definitely want to hear what Miriam has to say, particularly also about this mayoral candidate. Now, while I was reading that out about the mobile phones, you were nodding your head then.
I don't think children should be allowed smartphones in any way, shape or form, because you can't control what they're getting access to. They can be, and they are being manipulated, the apps that the children particularly like to get to, and we know that those apps are having effects on children's mental health and their behaviours and everything else. When we grew up, there were no mobile phones. It didn't.
Although I think often it's the parents. And I hate it when I sit on the train on the way home and I see a parent often with quite young children, the parents on their phone, the kids on their iPad. I've got to, I don't think you should ever see a phone or an iPad before the age of 3. Certainly, I mean, there's loads of evidence that this is bad for their brain development. Also, they're never going to find a book interesting after they see big flashing images. And I'm afraid those big flashing images aren't as useful to you as the ability and the love of reading. But there is this thing. I mean, we gave our daughter a phone, I think, when she was in the final year of primary school and wanted to walk to and from school. And again, like all parents, you get a bit paranoid. It's crazy, but have a phone. But we gave her, a kind of an old brick, effectively.
I was going to say, give them a brick phone.
But when we sort of had one of my old phones, but we I don't know how to do the stuff. The IT husband does it, but dismantle. So literally, the only thing she could do was make a call or send a text message. Certainly none of the other stuff, Insta or anything like that. At 13, when she was allowed to go on those, yes, but with private accounts. But I have to say, most of the time, she and her friends, they use their phones to call or message each other to find out what time we're all meeting up later, which is healthy. I think we may have Miriam Cates back on the line and actually be able to hear her. Miriam, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, no, I still can't hear her. I don't know what is going on. Let's take the whole system down. Why don't we just put her on the phone and she can just speak to me on the phone and then I can call me and then we can just do. We're going to persevere. We're going to persevere. Miriam, bear with us. I'll carry on talking to Phil. We're going to do our best.
Technology's not there to help us, they're to blame.
I mean,
and therefore we can blame the technology, the mobile phones, on child behaviour.
My favourite time that something like this happened is when we were talking to a government minister.
Julia, can you hear me?
Years back on the Breakfast Show, about an announcement about how they were going to improve broadband communication because so many phone lines are cut out of business, and literally we couldn't make the line work, and it was just like, what are the odds? What are the odds?
Dear.
No, but this is the thing. I think a lot of this is a parenting issue, but there's a difference certainly with teenagers.
Yeah.
You know, your kid is out and about. If they're not on their phone, for a start, they don't get homework information from school. They don't know when everyone else is meeting. They don't know that you don't get invites to things. Kids, I'm afraid, just like adults, could say, you know, they have to be on their phones. Yep. The question is what they're doing on their phones and for how long.
Well, exactly. And we still met up and knew what our timetables were and all the rest of it. We didn't have mobile phones.
Yeah, but that's...
Because we talked to each other and you had a paper diary where you had...
I know, but we're not back in the dark ages.
We're not back in the dark ages, but...
Things have moved on.